All right. What are my thoughts on one of my favorite grunge bands from the 90s, Stone Temple Pilots' Core? What's going on, ladies and gents? It's Zyberland coming back to another album review, and this time we're moving on to, man, one of my favorite albums of the 90s, one of my favorite, I wouldn't say favorite band, but I just really enjoyed this band and what they had to offer when they were putting out music in the 90s. And it grew on me at times too, so anyway. Stone Temple Pilots' debut album, Core. So, this was not the first album I heard by the band. The first album I actually heard by them was number 4, and that was more so songs here and there, because a lot of people, most people that weren't huge fans or didn't know much about them, they more than likely heard the song Sour Girl. And that's what I heard. I was like, okay, you know. But what I didn't realize is the actual first song I heard by the band was on Big Empty. It was on the Crow soundtrack, because I love that movie. And I'll eventually get to review about that too. But that was really where I first heard them. And then when I was working, you know, in college and in my later years of high school, I would hear a couple songs on the radio by the band, which was really from this album. But I didn't know Stone Temple Pilots because Scott Weiland, the late Scott Weiland, his vocal range was different from what I heard on later albums, as opposed to the first 2 albums. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together until later in life. I was like, oh, okay, so, well, wait a minute, what happened? And of course, you know, you kind of go into the dude's personal life, and he unfortunately had a lot of issues with the law and drug related problems. So, you know, but doesn't discredit the album. And eventually, I bought Core, and the first song I was just like, whoa, this sounds like really heavy but not fast. Okay, well, let's see where it goes. You know, her Dead and Bloated. And right when I got to Sex Type Thing, I already knew who it was. Like, because I had actually heard this song at one point on Weird Al Yankovic's, I think he called it the polka thing or something. He was having certain bands be mimicked and such. And I heard, I am, I don't want to get next to you. I was like, wait a minute, this is the band. And it just clicked at that moment. And went through the album from front to back. At first, I didn't like the last track on the album. I just felt like once the interlude came in and then you heard Cracker Man should have been where it stopped. But, you know, it's not that I didn't like it. I just felt like it was just heavy, but just, I don't know. But I guess maybe because how Dead and Bloated started in slow and heavy, they ended it slow and heavy. Maybe it was that. But otherwise, it was a great album from front to back. I loved the guitars. I loved the heaviness of the bass. And the bass, even though I believe the bass and the guitarists are brothers, the bass and the guitarists are brothers, and they really played off of each other very well when it came to the musicianship of the album. As far as the lyrics, didn't have a problem with that. I thought Scott was great. His vocal range was very distinct, and it was really, really good. And he was able to, from the videos I did come across of that time, he was able to keep that vocal range when he was on stage. He was really good. However, I did come across over time that I guess they got a lot of shit for this album. I guess people were saying they were copying Nirvana, but then also sounded like Alice in Chains, and they weren't from the grunge area of Seattle. They were more so from Cali. So it was a bunch of unnecessary drama. As far as I'm concerned, I label them as one of the five. I call them the Big Five, or the five of grunge, or the Grunge Five. You know, Soundgarden, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, and Pearl Jam. But anyway, you know, the vocal range was just great. There wasn't anything I didn't... At first, the last track I didn't really care for, but now, you know, I'm older and I appreciate it. But there wasn't... When I first heard it, it just clicked. Like, just the songs were just each one was just clicking with me, where it's like, it's almost like I felt like I've heard this before. Like I've heard this band before. Not somebody else, just them. It just clicked that well with me. And I really enjoy it. It's one of the albums I always listen to. And at one point I hope to, like, you know, get better with my musicianship and cover a couple of these songs too. But if you are curious about the band, this is a good place to start. Or, you know, it's just like the first two albums are so distinctively different from the next set of albums. It's like 1 and 2 are like over here or over here. And then 3 is kind of the middle, and then 4 is kind of elements of 1 and 2, as I would say it. But we'll get to that. But anyway, if you've never heard them, check it out. If you like the 90s rock, it's a great album. I think, to me, well, I don't know if it would be my favorite. A lot of people say Purple's their favorite, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. So anyway, let's cue the music.